lead to anything, especially since this scene came right after she lost to Eggman. While she did feel hobo about risking her team, nothing about her or the other characters have changed from that experience. Hell, in the Sonic Universe 71, she was shown fighting and risked her life jumping off of the ship to fight a monster. But isn't she supposed to be down to earth? Logical? Not going to risk my life for nothing kind of character? Yeah, these are since the soft, as I put it, reboot. But this is the story without any of the previous writer's restrictions. You see, the image I used in this post, you see how every character has a reaction to being in the situation? Sonic looking scared, Blaze looking annoyed, etc. Every character has an expression except for Sally, who just looks like she's posing. Why? Because she has no established character perspective to show how she would react in this scenario. A while back, a friend messaged me, and this is still Levi talking. A while back, a friend messaged me about comparing Sally to Twilight Sparkle in MLP. However, if I were to compare Sally to anyone in MLP, it would be Princess Celestia. And I mean that in the worst way possible. Both characters seem to fail in being internal directors. Characters who exist solely in the story to tell other characters what to do, or doing very little themselves. It's one of the reasons why Celestia is thought of as a manipulative bastard in the fandom. While this usually takes away any personal motivation from the directed characters, this usually comes with the double-edged cut of the director not developing a character due to not doing anything that shows off their personality. Both Sally and Celestia have this weird trend of being completely inactive or inconsistent outside of actions that move the plot forward. However, this means that they never have any character moments that clearly establish what the personality is or why we should relate or care about them. Why some might theorize that this happens because they want the character to be a hero or someone for the audience to look up to, really it screams of laziness, as the character never seems to have any amazing elements that show how great they are, and usually the high role their high role is usually used to justify their directing. See Zordon or Gaijin from Power Rangers, or Splinter from any of the TMNT adaptations. Really, it's just, and this is Levi still talking, it's just that Sally is proactive, but not due to the story. We never learn about anything about how she views the world. No personality quirks or traits to humanize her. No unique dialogue, no goals, no character interactions that show off other sides of her personality. Outside of being the character who is always in the correct view, I'm not saying she needs to be wrong. But she needs to be some other than being the plot director, like being comedically frustrated, nerdy, depressed, losing her mind, embarrassed for something that she did. Just anything. However, unlike characters like Luffy from One Piece or Ash Ketchum from Pokemon, who are also considered to be one-note characters, Sally is one-note by never having any moments that show us who she is. Yes, she has less personality range than Ash and Luffy. Let that sink in. But with all the problems with Sally's character, at least she contributes to her story in a way that moves the plot forward and has something to do, unlike the other four. Levi continues, when I first did my StatAM character analysis, I wrote about each of the characters, about how I wrote about each of characters could be replaced with the Sega characters. I took that part out because that wasn't the point I wanted to make about all the cast. However, I had the argument in mind because I was thinking about Rotor, who sadly this applies to. Now, before anyone comments about how wrong I am about Rotor, answer me one question. Do you like Rotor? I don't mean tolerate him or accept him. I mean, do you generally like his character? Whenever I try looking up fan art or information about him, he always has the least amount for him and is usually ignored. Hell, I've seen people do entire retrospectives of the series and completely overlook him. And why shouldn't they? He isn't interesting or engaging as a character. He only gets worse when you realize anything his character can or could do could be better handled by other characters already. Like Sally, Rhoda doesn't have any personality to him. He originally started out being the shy nerd of the group, but after a while that personality trait was dropped and he started to behave either as an aggressive fighter, snarky and tough, or he is the straight man to everyone and is supportive of everyone, both of which are inconsistent and contradictory. He has no personality goal or wants, has no unique relationships, no mannerisms or quirks, and everything he says could be said by other characters and nothing would be lost in the switch. Hell, even with all the crap I have about Cream and Big, at least they contribute humor from their own personalities. When a main character has less of a personality than the comic relief, there is a problem. However, unlike Sally, Rhoda doesn't do anything to move the plot. After his tech service role was superseded to Sally, and especially Tails, Rhoda hasn't really done anything to contribute to moving the plot forward due to his own character. No, I don't mean he hasn't created anything. When a character contributes to a story, When a character contributes to a story, it should come from their own personal beliefs. Their actions fueled by these beliefs. As loose as it is, a character having a specific job doesn't constitute having a character. Take Usopp from One Piece. His job in the crew is the sharp shooter. However, he contributes to the story and themes by overcoming his cowardly nature, trying to keep the others from doing something scary, and overall dealing with anyone that the others can't fight. His character is enhanced by being a sniper, not by being defined by it. I guess I'm just jaded about Rotor because I feel he's wasted potential, especially if the story was supposed to have some environmental message. They could have used the tech guy love of technology as his main character conflict, having to see his passion being used to hurt and control others, and him still trying to see technology in a positive light. I could call him the most wasted character in the franchise. However, that title has always been held by the one and only Bunny Rabbit. And that's basically essentially where the first part that Levi, or Lavi, I guess that's his name, ends at. He hasn't done another one. Well, they haven't done another one since, and this is the longest video I've done off this. This is going to have to be charged. But like I said, this is basically that's essentially what the character is. you know. Oh, that's essentially the first part. Now, do I agree with some of what Levi said? Not really. I think it's one's own personal perspective. I mean, when you take a look at someone like Sally, she does have character and personality. Heck, take a look at her reaction sometimes during the fight scenes. I think, what was it, the second part of Champions. Heck, I think she bit her own freaking finger out of comic relief. I mean, using the puppy eyes on her father to kind of, get a bit of a loan, if you will, to help out. That's comedic. She does have personality. Now, I kind of understand maybe where he's coming from. The fact that she doesn't have more than that. You know, like, okay, she gets so frustrated that she's like, wee, 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 woo. Little smoke coming out of her ears and all that. She gets frustrated. And, okay, I get that. But if you take a look at the earlier comics, and I mean way when this comic book series first started, she had character. She had that comedic relief. But here's the thing with Sally. You see, in Sad AM, she did have this too. She had her character, personalities, and everything, but she's always been goal oriented. Okay, she's always been someone that has a goal in mind, and if she wants to accomplish that goal, she has to take her job seriously. Now, can she sit back and relax and just have a day to herself? Of course she can. I mean, heck, I'm just waiting for the time where they actually let Ian Flynn write in a scene or Ian Flynn or Leah Baker write in a scene to where she's just relaxing in a bubble bath at the end of a story, and when there's a scenario where you hear people outside of it, she basically submerges under the bubbles, and that's it. That's the end of the story. Because that's a bit of comedicness. She's like, she's basically telling herself, what. She's had a long day, she's just going to submerge into the bubbles and act like she just doesn't exist. Just let all the noise go away. And that isn't because of what I saw the Valerie character do in the Hogan Family one time, which is a 1980 series, but still, the point is, I could see something comedic-wise going in that direction for Sally down the line. Now, yeah, should she have more comedic moments? Of course. She could have a thought process where basically you could see her melt into a puddle. That's it. And then pop back into reality like, oh my gosh, kind of deal. But, again, they have all these again, they do have that potential for Sally but again, like I said, I know where Levi is coming from, but the thing is she does have personality. Maybe not as much as some people would think, because more along the line, she's looked at as the leader of the group. She's looked at as the leader. She's looked at as a character that's there to get the job done, that is focused on her goal of getting the job done and making sure nothing stands in her way of getting that job done. And I think that is what contributes to her character in the long run. Now, again, I know some people may not like that, but you know what? That is her character personality. She takes her job seriously. Yeah, can she have a comedic moment? Of course she can. There's no doubt she has her comedic moments. Who doesn't? Can she have as many comedic moments as everybody else? Of course. But everybody's always viewed her as being the Sally of Sad AM. But again, you take a look at what's going on in the second part of Champions and her reaction to some of the fight scenes. Yeah, those are comedic. You take a look at somewhat of what she did at the first part of Champions. A bit of comedicness there. Now, like I said, could she have more? Of course she could. But I think what it is with a lot of people, it's more of an impatientness because they can't wait. They want to see if more can be done with the character. Now, as far as Rotor goes, Rotor has always been looked at as someone that's just a technician, just like sort of the brains of the group. Yeah, they're trying to make him sort of like more of an action guy now. Of course they are. Is he still a technician? Of course he is. Is he still an inventor? Of course he is. But are they trying to make him more of an action guy? Of course they are. But I think his personality is going to really come out as well. Again, it's all about patience. And the personality is going to come out more along the lines is we'll probably get into Worlds Unite and maybe afterwards. Because if you take a look at the recent issues, he's sort of been more of a guy that's not just snarky, but he's more like, let's just get this thing done with and get out of here. Or, you know, it's like, okay, and it's like in that underwater story arc with the characters of Razor and Tikal and all that. His first reaction when basically everybody was against them in that undersea kingdom was like, hey, these people don't want to help or anything, fine. Let's just find the guy at temple and get out of here and that's it. You know, these people don't want to help us, fine, let's just go. Basically, he's going to have more of an impulse personality. Like what he told Sally in part 1 of Champions. He said, look, why don't we just take the emerald from Breezy? It makes it easier. We don't have to go through this tournament deal. We get the emerald, that's it. And basically it's more on impulse. Like, let's just get the damn thing and get it. Let's just get what we have to get. Not deal with any BS. Not deal with any politics. And go. And one could actually sympathize with Rotor from that kind of perspective. But again, it's more about the fact that it's about patience when it comes to the personalities of characters. Now, when you get to Bunny Rabbit, I probably have an idea what you might be saying, or what LaviArray might be saying, but Bunny, to me, has had personality in this comic. She had personality, and the writers, no matter whether they've been Ian Flynn, Carl Bowlers, Ken Penders, have all realized that the one thing that makes Bunny unique is the fact that she can be an in-your-face kind of action hero or heroine. And the fact that probably the best team-up they've ever gotten with her, besides being with Antoine as her husband, the best team-up they have is putting her and Sonic as, you know, a team. Like when they split up, and let's say Antoine goes with Rotor and Sally, Bunny goes with Sonic because that's the ultimate team-up. And I guess they looked at Ultrasonic as being that scenario, like, hey, there's potential with a Bunny-Sonic team-up because he has the muscle, he has the speed, bam! Instant kick-ass action. So, I can understand how some people are impatient. And to me, the whole thing about the personalities and stuff like that, it's about patience. And that's all I have to say. So that was just part 1. I'll let you guys know about anything else later on. Till then, I'm going to charge this camera, and I am out.